Occasionally, a phrase in the media just gets me to thinking, and a phrase did that just the other day when I was reading an article in the Washington Post about Laurene Powell Jobs, the widow of Steve Jobs of Apple fame, of course, and she has created a group she calls the Emerson Collective. She is, of course, a billionaire, and this billionaire funded program is looking to basically bring Silicon Valley thinking to philanthropy. It's the kind of thing I've criticized before and probably will criticize again, and may even take a closer look at the Emerson Collective. But it was this phrase that struck me from reporter David Montgomery of the Washington Post. He wrote that she was quietly, and I quote, quietly assembling a kind of justice league of practical progressives. And it was that phrase, practical progressive, that got to me, because this is so deeply embedded in our elite thinking, both in the media and politics, that genuine progressive thinking is somehow impractical. Who's the first one he names as a quote-unquote practical progressive? Arne Duncan, former education secretary under Barack Obama. Now, Arne Duncan, in my view, is not a progressive on education. It's as simple as that. He's entitled to his political views, but they are not progressive. Arne Duncan is a big advocate for charter schools, for the privatization of large aspects of our education system. Now, public education is the most practical. It is one of the great practical accomplishments of the American people and the American nation. Public education has educated millions upon millions of school children, generations of Americans. It has done so at low cost, frankly, underpaying its teacher force. It has yet, nevertheless, been able to do so in many cases very, very successfully. And where it has failed to succeed, it has failed to succeed because we do not provide enough funding for our schools, because we are frankly racist in the way we distribute and disseminate funds to our schools, and deprive poor neighborhoods and minority neighborhoods of the funding they need. But public education is a success story. So if you want to talk to me about practical progressives, first of all, name a progressive who believes in the positive force government can be in our daily lives, and then tell me about somebody who has actually achieved practical accomplishments. The charter school, according to studies, has been a failure. Public education is a success.